still love me. Oh, you're there? Very good. Valentine's Day today. What a nice song there for those in love and those who can remember. I want to stay with you for the rest of my life. Good morning, it's Coast FM at 10 minutes after 8. Every morning on a Monday we invite Edgar Adams of the Central Coast Business Review to join us and kind of keep us updated on what's happening in the business world on the Central Coast. Good morning, Mr. A.
Good morning, Mr. L.
Well, there you go. Well, it's a wet one outside, so I guess people are taking it nice and carefully on the road today. And we're talking about developments on the Central Coast in terms of the retail activity, and I understand that Woolworths has been approved for a development at Lisaro today.
They have. There was last council meeting. It got through. The the Lisaro Shopping Centre out there on the way through to Orimba.
Yeah.
That's owned by the Brand Group and the Stevens Group, and Brand's a bit of a joint venture there.
Well, only Bilo's here at the moment, I think, isn't it?
It's a Bilo supermarket, yeah. Well, behind that, you immediately you'd say, well, where are they going to put it? Well, they're going to put it behind it, up Parsons Road.
Yeah.
And
in that bushland there.
Near the bushland. It's a big cut. They've got to cut right into the side of the hill.
Yeah.
And council's approved of
that was a farm when I moved here many years ago.
It was all farm, mate. I tell you, when we all moved here, it was all farm. A bit like Fountain Plaza out where I am.
Exactly.
That was a chook shed.
You got it. Oh, we're a bunch of old things.
It just shows you we ought to go.
So that's been improved now, that new Woolies concept, hasn't it?
Yes, so it's you've got a supermarket going in and 9 specialty shops.
Yeah.
And, of course, one of the specialty shops will be a liquor store, naturally. A Woolies liquor store. What else?
But they've got a liquor land already up there.
Doesn't matter. Woolies can never get enough. If they can put one... I reckon liquor shops, in a few years' time, will be like service stations were 50 years ago. Not a lot of people can remember, the young ones can't, but, I had a service station once. There were service stations on every corner of an intersection once.
Yes,
remember that?
On my word.
Yeah, well, that's how liquor stores are going.
Okay.
Anyway, but the interesting thing about that is that Woolies have just got the rezoning approval for one at Lake Munmora.
Yeah.
And they opened one at a supermarket at New Minor last year, you may remember.
That's right. And they're also hoping to get at one stage into Niagara Park, don't they?
Well, they've been pushing to get into Niagara Park for a long time. They want to get into that part of the world.
Yeah.
And council wouldn't let them in.
Yeah.
Mainly because the councils just didn't agree with what ought to be done with that dog of the site, which, they were the ones who were going to, because we won't go into that.
Niagara Park, yeah.
We're here all day. But, so Woolies are starting to... get a bit of traction. They lost traction. We keep talking about that. 20 years ago, but they're getting in now.
It became a very Coles-dominated marketplace here on the Central Coast.
It has
for Coles. It was their, one of their flagship areas.
It was.
But what's also amazing too is that Coles are now out of the CBD of Gosford with the closure, I should say, of the town centre.
Yeah, it's all Woolies here now.
Any talk of Coles trying to get their feet into the CBD of Gosford?
Well, I haven't spoken to any of the property owners at the present moment, but I wouldn't be one scrap surprised to see Coles working at full speed with one of the property owners to do something.
Yeah.
It has to happen.
Yes, well.
It has to happen. But really, out there with Lisaro, there is no shopping. There's no decent retail from Wyoming
to Tuggerah.
To Tuggerah.
Absolutely.
Orimba's got nothing.
You've got to go all the way. Yeah. Even Chittaway doesn't offer very much for those who live around Fountaindale.
Yes, yes. So a Woolies there.
Absolutely.
Well, so if you've got a retail store in that complex, you'll do pretty well there, because Woolies will really attract more. The Coles Bilo, because it's a Bilo, doesn't attract quite as many. But it'll really attract a lot of people.
Yes. Well, I think the Bilo stores are really being matched product for product with a regular Coles store. They're certainly price-wise.
Of course they are. Yeah, it's just that they're a smaller format.
Mightn't be at the same range.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
So that'll
still offering $2 milk, by the way. $2 for 2 litres.
Yeah. Someone's going to be paying a bit like petrol. Woolies and Coles with their
can we just reflect on that for the moment? I mean, I've just got to raise this one. I've got a 4 cent litre voucher in my car, ready to spend when I find a Coles outlet. This is from one of my purchases through Coles. A Coles petrol outlet that's actually on par with other service stations. Because these days, most of them are 4 to 6 cents a litre higher than an independent service station.
Is that a fact? I haven't been looking because I just buy the same. I only buy an independent.
It has become a giant RI. A big RO, mate. Rip-off, you know?
Yeah, well, look, these supermarkets, the technology they've got now, they know how the shopper thinks, and they are using it to the nth degree.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, if you're a shopper in Woolies or Coles, mainly Woolies and Coles, because they've got the monopoly.
Market share.
They have. You are going to get ripped off. I'll ask anyone in our audience, Peter, to tell me the price of a kilo of butter.
A kilo of butter, regular butter.
Butter or margarine, that's right.
Yeah.
Because you go into the supermarket, you look at their great big freezer full of every brand there is, and everyone's got a different price.
Yes.
If you go in next week, they've all changed around.
Oh yes, that's called price modification.
Yeah,
confusion. Price turnover.
Confusion. And my wife just buys the same stuff regardless of price now because she figures in the long run it's all the same. But that's what they do, and no shopper who goes into the supermarket knows what any article should cost because they keep changing.
Very flexible. Flexible pricing.
Look, I'll tell you, they're corporate crooks. Now that's a bold statement. That's a bold statement. And let me tell you, you started this with the $2 a kilo, $2 a litre milk.
Yeah, or 2 litres.
2 litre milk.
$1 a litre.
$1 a litre milk. Now in the end, that will be a con.
That will be.
And the farmers will.
Yes, it will be a con. It will be a good con. Yeah. And the farmers will have to.
The farmers will go out of business. And we'll be pushed into paying it. They will then control the milk market totally.
Well, we can't get our milk from China.
No.
Maybe from New Zealand.
Well, I was just going to say, New Zealand may be able to ship it over to us. But I can't believe that we'd get cheaper New Zealand milk than we would from even Victoria.
Oh, look at the exchange rate, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, you can buy milk over there for 50 cents a tonne or something. Yeah. There's lots of cows around.
So, anyway, so that's the story at the present moment. Woolies are into Lizard, and on this occasion, I think it's good news for the people.
The thing is, we can't do much about it because there aren't too many alternatives to go and buy our groceries at.
No,
there's IGA, there's Aldi.
Yeah, Aldi are good, but they don't have quite the variety.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, and IGA and Franklin's, but
I call the Aldi stores like the Democrats. They keep the bastards honest to a point.
Well, to a point, yeah. But I've spoken to some manufacturers who do with Aldi, and they have only the highest respect for them.
Lovely. That's nice to hear.
They say that Aldi accepts they have to make a profit.
Sure.
And that's the important thing. Woolies and Coles just grind the manufacturer into the ground.
It would be tough being a supplier to those things.
Oh, it's just not on.
Yeah.
It's just not on.
Well, it's nice having an argument with you. I know there's no argument. We both agreed, didn't we?
Yeah.
Edgar Adams here every Monday morning talking business on the Central Coast. Nice to see you. Have a great week.
You too, Peter. Don't get too wet.